R&B singer Jaheim is being charged for animal cruelty. And is everybody in Cassie Mama set to testify in the Diddy trial? Plus, Halle Bailey gets a restraining order against ex-DDG while Shabuzi is gearing up for his fall country tour. Hey, critics, and welcome back to the Critic Chronicles YouTube channel where you get commentary, reviews, and tabloid news. We are live on this Wednesday, May the 28th, 2025. Hey, critics, it's time to chronicle. Up first, y'all, let's talk Black on the Cover, where we, of course, highlight Black excellence gracing the cover of today's hottest magazines. On the cover of Vogue, ASAP Rocky, he's gracing the May issue. I kind of talked a little bit about that around the time of the Met Gala at the beginning of May on the previous episode. And then Esquire magazine has Caleb Williams on the April May issue. Athlon Sports has Angel Reese versus Caitlyn, which I guess perfect timing, right? They're both on the 2025 WNBA preview issue. Shout out to everybody right now in this WNBA season, all of the newbies who was just recently drafted as well. Congratulations, ladies. And on the cover of Men's Health, we have Jalen Hurts. He's on the May-June issue. On the cover of Rolling Stone, Lil Wayne, he's gracing the cover of the May 2025 issue. Cosmopolitan has nobody else but Doechii on the Romance Summer 2025 issue. Us Weekly has Nicole Ari Parker on the June 2nd issue. And in this particular episode, we're going to talk about Shabuzi on the cover of People magazine's June 2nd issue. Now, as a reminder, most magazines and books mentioned today is sourced through Hoopla and Libby, both free streaming platforms made possible through our local library. Here at the Critic Chronicles, our goal is to provide quality but juicy content from websites, digital magazines, and tabloids, most of which are sourced through our public library. Research from the National Library of Medicine show that there are an estimated 17,000 public libraries nationwide, totaling 4 million visits each day. Public libraries are civic organizations that are committed to providing invaluable resources beyond books that are free and open to the public. Get your library card to access thousands of resources today. Hey, critics, you know what time it is. It's time for critical news you can use. And I'm going to jump right into it, y'all, because apparently R&B singer Jaheim, also, of course, a three-time Grammy-nominated singer, he's actually facing charges of animal cruelty, says WSB TV in Fulton County. He was apparently accused of not providing enough water, sanitary living conditions, and then proper ventilation for several dogs under his care, says hotnewhiphop.com. Now, it's apparent, according to this report, that this is not the first time that Jaheim has actually gotten in trouble. Apparently, in September 2021, authorities arrested him in Hillsborough, New Jersey, after it was discovered that he had 15 dogs living in unsafe and unsanitary conditions. Now, Jaheim, you know better. Oh, anyway, I guess more to come when it comes to R&B singer Jaheim and these charges as it relates to animal cruelty. Yeah. Well, let's hop into this itty bitty ditty committee. No, just y'all, this is too serious to be making a joke, but it's basically time. What I mean is, it's time for an update regarding mogul Sean Diddy Combs. Now, let's get serious, okay? Because Cassie has basically testified along with her mama, Dawn Richards, who's basically a member of Danity Kane, Kid Cudi, who confirmed everything and more about Diddy placing a mocktail of fire in basically his car. So not the blow up that we initially thought, but basically putting a fire, in my opinion, in my car would make me think you trying to blow up my car. So I don't think that's a stretch, but I understand what people are saying. It's not quite the blow up that we thought, right? Diddy also apparently broke into Cudi's house after finding out that he was dating Cassie. He also locked his dog in the bathroom, which we have learned. But let me not get ahead of myself because there's some other folks, but their testimony, I guess the testimony that everybody is looking like, oh, Diddy did it, is the testimony from yesterday from former Bad Boy employee Capricorn Clark, who worked very closely with Diddy and also during a time where he was also dating Cassie. So, People magazine reminds us that during Cassie's testimony, she talked about the abuse that she endured with Combs during their 11-year relationship, including being RAPD in 2018 on the living room floor after dinner, where she tried ending the relationship. I also want to talk about the fact that Cassie stressed during, and I would say even, I don't know if it was prior to, but definitely after filing her lawsuit, she stressed the fact that Diddy basically abused her and in front of other people, and it was degrading and it was embarrassing. So she really focused specifically though on domestic violence. She also exposed the fact that Diddy exerted control over her personal life and coerced her into basically elaborate freak offs or FOs, which she and others were basically compelled to entertain Diddy and his guests, who included a lot of big shots with a variety of deranged sort of requests and fetishes. But for the most part, it seemed like it was Diddy specifically requesting Cassie to get certain men of a certain size in terms of certain areas. You know what I'm talking about. Big D energy, men, and he would have Cassie not only perform, but he would kind of direct the sexual acts that was there in front of him. So that was kind of what I gathered. And the reason why Cassie didn't escape, because she feared for basically her life and livelihood, which is the reason that she um, stayed. That's what I gathered. Plus, Diddy also had handlers, which a lot of people have basically verified. He would film Cassie during these FOs, and he would use it as a way to basically blackmail the model. Cassie was on the stand for, I think, what, the first week, and was identified as basically a key witness, of course, in the case, victim number one. After her testimony, though, both Cassie as well as her husband, they actually released a statement, and her husband specifically praised Cassie for saving herself from this situation and saying that she did not let it break her spirit, right? So I think some people was kind of like, oh my God, her husband came in and saved her. Mm-mm. Her husband even verified that, like, nah, that wasn't the case. Cassie actually saved herself. You may have seen this already as well. Cassie is reportedly in the process of being admitted and may already have given birth to their third child. I'm going to guess that this time it's a boy. She already, if you don't know, have two young girls with her current husband, Alex Fine. So Cassie Fine, but who wasn't fine, it was a little shaky, was Dawn Richards. She testified that just like others, she worked with Diddy and she witnessed him basically abusing Cassie. Diddy also bought Dawn, if you remember, out of some contract that she was in, I believe, before she even got into the girl group Danny DeCane. So there was basically this level of loyalty that Dawn always seemed to have or feel that maybe she owed Diddy. That's my opinion, right? And for all these years, he was also overworking and abusing her as well. She also brought her colleague, or should I say, her bandmate, from Diddy Dirty Money, Kalika, I believe is her name. She brought her into the initial, I guess, lawsuit or report, and then she came out with an interview. If you remember, I actually put that on my channel as well, saying that whatever Dawn is saying, she didn't witness it. Da 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 da. So although Dawn said that she wasn't the only person that witnessed Cassie being abused, that also her bandmate Kalika, when she was in Diddy Dirty Money, also witnessed it. I believe, of course, Dawn, and I think that Kalika was like, honey, I'm not in that. Cassie wanted to do that, all of the things. So, child, I am not here to take up for that. So we could tell that in that interview she did, right? I will say this, though, when it comes specifically to Dawn, Essence is really choosing to focus on the now of Dawn and where she is with her music, along with her story. There's an article about Dawn in the latest issue of Essence. It's the New Orleans issue that was recently released. And Cassie Mama, her according to the reports, her testimony, it really did have a lot of people in the court just on pins and needles, just like it was intense, according to everybody. Okay. And Diddy forced her mama and daddy, basically her parents, to take out a loan on their home to get basically $20,000 to quote unquote buy their daughter back from Diddy. But when they gave it to Diddy, he ended up sending the money back because he still wanted to own Cassie. That's what they say, okay? But YouTubers say that when Cassie Mama took the stand, things got really serious in the courtroom. And of course, there were other testimonies as well. But let me say this real quick before I move on. Side note, shout out to all of the critics down at the courthouse pushing through this trial that is set to last for weeks. I think they say 2 months total, so that's about 8 weeks. And I think we're on what, week 2, 3? 10 days, 10, 11 days in. And although I cannot name all of them, I'm not sure of the exact length of time that they're planning to actually be there. But Tisa Tells, Nick at Night, Armand Wiggins, Make It Make Sense, Lauren LaRosa, just to name a few. Those are some of the folks that I've actually been tapping into to listen to as well. They are, for the most part, when I tell you, each one of them have their own unique way of delivering it, but I really do enjoy the diverse sort of variety that we have in terms of personalities on YouTube who's really delivering the message, and not later either. They're like literally coming out of the courthouse from a break on lunch breaks, giving us updates, then still going home and live streaming. Like, shout out to y'all. Kudos, baby, baby, because I'm enjoying every single minute of it. Now, let's get back to the trial and pick up on yesterday, courtesy of the critics over at CNN.com, and also a little bit of specifically Nick at Night, who was reading Twitter transcripts. So I kind of checked her out as well. So this is back to Capricorn Clark. She talked about her relationship specifically with Cassie Ventura and how at one point in time it sounded like they were getting along, but it started to develop some issues around 2008, saying she got a little bit more bravado as being his girlfriend the longer it lasted, saying basically that when Cassie became the girlfriend of Sean Diddy Combs, she kind of got a little big-headed and she turned from being this sweet model to a feisty girlfriend, okay? Clark said that Ventura's live performances, they weren't great, right? Though she thought that Ventura had talent, when Clark basically returned for work for Ventura in 2016, she said that Ventura's drug use was actually preventing her from opportunities that were before us. Now, when it comes to the access to industry professionals, I know that when it comes to Cassie, she kind of talked about the fact that, you know, Diddy, in a sense, sort of had this hold over her career and it did not progress the way she wanted it to. Well, according to Capricorn Clark, Ventura did have access to top tier industry professionals that create stars, including producers, choreographers, and stylists. Clark testified that under cross examination, adding that Ventura had more attention and resources than other artists who basically signed with Bad Boy, especially at the beginning of her career between 2007 and 2012. New artists like Machine Gun Kelly as well as French Montana, they was basically getting a lot of attention at Bad Boy around 2012. But Clark said that Ventura seems to be getting the same amount of attention. And even when Combs took a step back around, I think she says 2016 to 2017, she believed that Ventura still had the same support. They also specifically worked on a project where Clark was the creative director back in 2016, and she helped her basically create this look for her show at a MTV Video VMA event that year, and it required Ventura to basically dye her hair neon yellow. Clark testified that Ventura liked the idea and confirmed that she wasn't forced against her will to dye her hair. There was also said some information, or should I say emails, that was sent to Combs back in 2014 to 2015, asking basically for Sean Diddy Combs to forgive Clark. Earlier in the day, she testified that while she was officially fired in 2012 over a vacation she took, she believed Combs actually fired her because he was upset about her knowledge of Ventura's relationship with Kid Cudi. Now, when it comes to that vacation, apparently she was actually on vacation with Rihanna. But she also confirmed that Diddy did go to the house of Cudi, but apparently stopped at her house first to get her because he was taking her to go with him to go kill Cudi. Pow pow. Excuse me. I don't know if I'm supposed to say the K word, but pow pow, Cudi. And apparently Diddy also had the pow pow with him as well. And she was basically forced to go with Diddy, and basically, I think she said somebody else. She also said that she felt like she was a protector for Diddy, and he didn't have anybody looking out for him without her on staff. Since it seems like this incident happened, it looks like Capricorn Clark has not been able to actually find work. Under redirect examination, Clark said that the settlement that she reached with Combs after her termination in 2012 required mutual non-disparagement, and that Combs would sign a letter of recommendation for Clark, but he never did. Now, I also remember, if I'm not tripping, that Dawn Richards signed some sort of a contract to get out of her. She signed something to get out of her contract with Bad Boy, and I think it was very similar, where she basically would not say nothing negative about Diddy, and Diddy wouldn't say nothing negative about her, which is one of the reasons why I feel like over the years she continued to make it sound like, her and Diddy, yes, was working well together, along with the fact that he was basically her employer and she was trying to work, right? Even if that meant trying to like work around him, but still kind of maybe with him a little bit, but still working with her bro. That's how she phrased it. But at the end of the day, those relationships may have looked one way in public, but privately, we now know the truth. Clark also testified that she couldn't get a job in the industry, and the judge struck that testimony from the record after sustaining a defense objection. Clark said that she continued to look for work throughout 2015, but when she wasn't able to find anything, she realized she was blacklisted, to which the judge sustained a defense objection to her response. Unable to find steady work in the entertainment industry, Clark started basically consulting. She testified saying, at this level of business, he holds all the power as it related to me. All I can think of is, y'all, who's gonna play the role of Diddy's mama in the movie? Because y'all know this is a movie or a series with like 15 episodes, right? But either way, I hope that the Hollywood actresses are ready in the next few years, because I bet a movie is coming sooner rather than later. And what do y'all think? Is it gonna be a movie or a series? Hmm. Well, we shall see. And speaking of seeing, y'all, let's go black on the inside of People Magazine's June 2nd issue. Now, in this issue, Shabuzi is gracing the cover, and he's looking sexy and summer ready as one of the sexiest men of the moment. Shabuzi is also headlining the CMA Fest, which, side note, I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm gonna say it because I already started, which I find funny, since they can have you headline that but not win an award at their show in 2024 for single of the year, even though it's been the hottest country song for the entire 24 and into 2025. But nobody asked me. Nobody asked me. Did anybody? Nobody asked me. They also, y'all, have a quiz in the magazine to help you determine your perfect match. Another side note, y'all, when I was growing up, basically as a little girl in rural America, because I'm a little small town country girl, I used to subscribe to so many like different magazines, including like 17 magazine, and I just basically loved taking like those love quizzes like in the magazine. Yeah, just a little nostalgic, a little nostalgia, a little flashback, moving on though, y'all, to page 3. The magazine is chattering about the cover of Sports Illustrated featuring Jordan Childs. Inside, the Olympic gold medalist is quoted saying, "I was like, there is no way this is real," when speaking about being on the cover. Now, the medalist also channeled her Halle Bailey, or should I say the Little Mermaid character, to get through the cover shoot, and commended the actress and singer on bringing more diversity to Disney princesses. Y'all, I had to say that. Of course, that reminds me of BAP's Black American Princesses. Yeah, anyway, Jordan has never shied away from the fact that she has struggled with body image growing up, especially being a little more curvier than her peers as a woman of color going through that particular industry of the gymnast industry, right? And you know what? A side note, I really want her to actually do like a children's book about being a young woman of color in the gymnastics world. Now, while I know that she covered a lot of that in her book, I think a children's version would be so inspiring to little girls looking to be just like you, Jordan. Congratulations again on not only being on the cover of Sports Illustrated, but also on your book called I'm That Girl, available on Libby, a free library platform made possible through our local library. And speaking of the Little Mermaid and Miss Halle Bailey, um, she's basically y'all been awarded full custody of her son with ex-boyfriend DDG. An article by Rachel DeSantis on page 14 talks about the temporary sole legal and physical custody of her 17-month-old son Halo after she alleged that DDG was physically, verbally, and emotionally abusive, reporting that there were numerous incidents of abuse by the rapper and social media personality, both during their 2-year relationship and after it ended in 2024. I think around October is what it seemed to be. And I noticed that, and forget, I noticed that it seemed like DDG was kind of, it seemed like trying to save face about certain things, or you know how people do, they try to do a unified front, and then slowly things started to just kind of come out of him wanting to see his child. Haley Bailey being at the Met Gala, and then DDG really also wanting to see his child, but come to find out, he was not necessarily behaving in the way that Haley thought was appropriate, so much so that apparently he hit her. There was also images, and apparently Haley also went and told his family. So she didn't keep it a secret and was like, I don't want nobody to know. And then she came out. She really did what should have been done, which is basically when somebody hurts you or harms you in that way, you take it to the, you got to take it where you need to take it in order to get the outcome that you need to obviously get. So she was granted a temporary restraining order against DDG. And video of DDG appearing to be live during the time in which he found out about the restraining order leads people to believe that it was a surprise to him. Do y'all? He did it. I don't think that was a surprise, right? So my question is, what part is the surprise? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, they are both set to appear in court on June the 6th, where further custody and protective order decisions will be considered, says Tribune.com. He's not harming the baby. He definitely should be able to see his child. It's just they got to put some parameters around that. And speaking of parameters, Rihanna, Riri. She's basically showing off her baby bump. She didn't even ask me for all of that, y'all. She's basically showing off her baby bump as she joined ASAP Rocky on the red carpet for his Spike Lee directed thriller, Highest to Lowest, on May the 19th. Rihanna has a brand new song out, y'all, right now called Friend of Mine, which is her first new music in years. But she also did the soundtrack for the second Black Panther movie, right? That was her. She sang a song, she's giving a song, a little song here, a little song there. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, Rihanna is in motherhood mode, okay? Let her be in motherhood mode. And this was a perfect transition because she is now going to be featured on the Smurfs movie that's set to release in July. The video is available on Rihanna's YouTube channel, and it shows a little bit of Rihanna and the Smurfs. But Rihanna, when your fans ask for new music, girl, you know this ain't what they meant. They was meaning like a full body of work, an entire project, a work. And to think you gave us back-to-back music and albums for a little while. Like, it was a little minute you was giving us back-to-back. We wasn't appreciative like we needed to be. Now, now we out here begging for more, okay? Continue to glow it up, girl. Continue to glow it up. Additionally, the movie that ASAP Rocky is in is a Spike Lee movie, and Spike Lee is on the cover of one of the Time magazines. I don't have exactly which cover it is, but he's actually on the cover of Time magazine. And Olympic medalist Simone Biles, she gave the commencement address at Washington University on page 9. And y'all, I did not write down all the people who gave commencement speeches this season, but if I have another episode that's close enough to this one, then I'll definitely make sure that I add that in there. And speaking of graduations and commencement ceremonies, it's that season. Vanessa Bryant also celebrated her daughter Natalia graduating cum laude from the University of Southern California on May the 16th. She honored her late father, Kobe Bryant, by including his Nike sheath logo on her sash. Toni Braxton also celebrated the graduation of one of her sons as well. And I think somebody over in Candy Burr's camp, they also graduated. I think maybe it was like her godson or somebody. So congratulations to all the graduation people and the people who got degrees, college degrees, high school, kindergarten, elementary, middle school, wherever you graduating to, do it big then. And today's shows, Hoda Kotb as well as Kathy Lee Gifford reconnected at a QVC and TikTok event in LA this month. Y'all, have they selected a replacement yet for Jenna and Friends? Like the person who's supposed to be on there with Jenna, basically the Hoda of the show, but they've changed the show now to be Jenna and Friends because they was apparently rotating some people out to see who they were gonna put in Hoda's place. Now, anyway, I'll talk about what I care about. Stop beating around the bush, girl, and get to the business. Also, side note, want to send condolences to Chanel and her family during this difficult time. People.com did reveal that unfortunately her husband actually passed away from a brain cancer that was very aggressive. I remember she had been out for a while, since I think around Christmas, and I mentioned her as a good black woman replacement for Hoda for the Jenna and Friends spot. However, it was recently revealed that she basically unfortunately lost her husband, and that's why she's actually been out. I understand that in situations like this, there's nothing that I could ever say to heal anybody's pain, but hopefully there has been words of encouragement that have brought at least a few moments of comfort. And then when it comes to Hoda actually returning to co-host today, she's actually going to be doing that, I think today. This morning. She may have already done it because they on that East Coast time, okay? Now she's not officially back on the show, but she's just kind of making an appearance. I just want a black woman to get this cushy job, right? I think it would be perfect for her, where she can just basically go to work, get paid a lot, spend holidays and quality time with the family, but also be a public figure, do a few appearances in the summertime, make it like it's a vacation for the family, write a few books, share memories of your family on your YouTube channel, book an infomercial, come out with your own tennis shoe. I don't know. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. I don't know. Go ahead, Lord. I ain't never had a register that low, but go ahead, Lord, register. Hmm. Had to take a little sip of my tea this morning. And on page 25 of People magazine, that is where the sexiness starts with Shabuzi. He's also spread out on a pool float with a black wife beater on excuse me, a black wife beater on. He also talks about his whole life basically being a pinch me moment and believes being different is his superpower. Now, while 2025 has been a year, so was 2024 for Shabuzi. I actually talked about Shabuzi at length in another episode. And to think he just released his hit song a year ago. He took home basically 3 Billboard Awards, performed on SNL, covered What a Wonderful World in a Super Bowl ad, performed at the Grammys. He showed off his fashion at the Met Gala earlier this month. All of that, and he did not let the fact that he's basically in a genre that many would not expect of him. Now, this is actually his third album, says the article, and his debut single was back in 2014 with the song Jeff Gordon. He released his second album in 2018, and then his 2024 album, Where I've Been, Isn't Where I'm Going. He is preparing, basically, y'all, for his biggest tour yet, set to happen in September. His go-to summer drink is a cold Coors. His song of the summer is Messy by Lola Young. And while he is still trying to create a workout routine, his dream vacation spot is where else but Tokyo, baby. More eye candy can be seen on page 29 to 35, and it includes some pretty good looking bachelors, including model Tyson Beckford. You know what, y'all? That's all I got for this morning. Critics, life has been lifing lately in an unexpected, surprising, yet still beautiful way. I'm so grateful for y'all this season of my life. And if you missed the previous episode, no worries. I have linked them below, or you can always browse the channel for the latest show. We also have a backup channel now called Hey Critic, so feel free to subscribe. Thanks again for tuning in to the Critic Chronicles YouTube channel, where you get commentary, reviews, and tabloid news. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload.